Back to the issue of,
I cannot be anchored by topic by topic. I have to talk about the state of the nation. It's about the state of the nation.
So, thank you. Fair enough. Ngunjiri Wambugu, bids are sharpening their claws for 2027, what the nation is calling dress rehearsal, and it seems to be referencing UDA and DCP. Where's Jubilee in this? Is it sharpening its claws as well? And as you answer that, is Jubilee going to be backing a presidential candidate, its own presidential candidate in 2027?
Okay, let me first start with the conversation on the headline. The 22 by-elections. I think Kenyans are going to, first, even as we talk about people competing against each other, I think the most important people here are Kenyans who are going to be watching how IEBC is actually going to deal with these by-elections, because this is what is going to determine whether we can believe in them or not as we head to the next election. This is the first series of by-elections this new team is going to have, and Kenyans are going to be watching to see how they'll actually handle them. Will they bow to pressure, whether from government or from opposition, in terms of how they are going to manage this by-election? So the most important thing, beyond the personality clashes that will be there in terms of whether it is Gachagua or Ruto or Raila and anybody else, is those of us who are not direct stakeholders in this particular election will be watching to see IEBC and how they will behave in terms of how, because once we see how they'll behave with these 22 by-elections, we'll now know whether we have an IEBC or it is a creature that was created to achieve a certain end. Second thing, these by-elections are also going to help us test these unity bids that we are seeing, whether in government or in opposition. Remember, within government, we have a unity bid of broad-based, right? And then in opposition, we have all this very, very fluid, evolving unity bid of people who are in government, some who are still in government, by the way, because they are members of parliament of a party that is in government, who are now gone to opposition. And then we have people who are old opposition people. And it's going to be interesting to see, as I listen to explain that they're going to choose some of the by-elections and decide whether they're going to see which party can run a candidate and whether the others are going to support it. It will be interesting to see that during these by-elections. It's also going to give us a glimpse into 2027 and whether these teams can actually get to 2027 as they are. The third thing I see, for those of us like Jubilee now, it's also going to be an opportunity for us to see whether we have learned anything from the last election and during the last 3 years. Because, see, as like for us, for example, as Jubilee, we're going to have to sit down and ask ourselves, do we want to do all 22 by-elections? Are we going to be strategic and do some? Are we going to support opposition or are we going to support government? So you see, the advantage for us, we are at a position where we can actually do either. As we start now lining up these by-elections, we can decide this one, the best candidate. Because also remember, you also want to get the best candidate for the job. You don't just want to win. Because again, and this is something we must agree we learned from 2022. Okay. I keep remembering the leader of the new party saying that the people who were elected in 2022 are stupid and foolish. Right? A particular group of leaders from a particular community that he campaigned for are stupid and foolish. So we must be very, very careful as we get into these by-elections and we go into the next election to start looking at the quality of the person rather than just the party that is coming to front them. And it's going to be also interesting to see whether the people have actually learned, the voters themselves. Are the voters going to be carried in a wave and choose a certain person because he's been fronted by a certain party that is popular? Or are they actually going to choose quality of people? Maybe pick a couple of independents, pick people who are not even in popular parties, but who they believe in. So it's going to be an interesting thing. And finally, we're also going to see whether we actually have leaders who can challenge government. People with, we have had a lot of people who are able to make noise and do slogans and mobilize crowds. This is now where the rubber meets the road, where you can you actually convert the noise and the slogans into a win? Or are you just good for public outcry? Can you actually strategically develop a plan that can make your candidate win an election? So this is also going to be an interesting time. And I think a lot of candidates who are not even part of these 22 by-elections will be watching to see how each respective party leader is going to strategize so that nikifanya kazi na huyo anaweza nisaidia naweza shinda. So That's it. The question you asked was...
about your presidential, do you have a presidential candidate that you're going to back in 2027?
This is 2025.
Yes.
And I'm going to borrow something. I'm going to borrow a comment that was given outside here. Allow me to borrow this. And he was talking about the people who know that they have a presidential candidate right now are the pro-government.
Okay.
They have Ruto.
Not sure.
They have Ruto. I mean,
they may decide
boss, you're not pro-government.
No,
I don't even know why you answered that question. You're not.
I'll give you an opportunity.
Me,
I will give you an opportunity.
Allow me to speak.